A holistic approach. I believe in a holistic approach. We are not just arms and legs, eyes and ears, a heart and a brain, but a complete human being. The whole person goes to work and the whole person comes home. Behavior don't change. People who are honest to at home are honest at work, and people who are dishonest at home are dishonest at work. We take family problems to work and work problem to the family. What happen when we take family problem to work? Our stress level goes up and our productivity comes down. Similarly, work problems too have an impact not only on our families but on every aspect of our lives. Personal, professional, and social problems are strongly interconnected and impact each other. Factors that determine our attitude. Let me ask you, are we born with attitudes or do we develop them as we mature? What are the factors that form our attitudes? Can attitudes be changed? Most of our attitudes were shaped during our formative years. While we were born with tendencies toward temperaments, these, there are three factors that largely determine our attitude formation. These are the three these are the triple E's of attitude. First, environment. Second, experience. Third, education. Let's evaluate each of these factors individually. Environment. Environment consists of the following: home environment. Positive or negative influences start rubbing off on all family members. School environment. Peer pressure. Work environment. Supportive or overcritical environment. Social environment, media, television, newspaper, magazine, radio, movies, etc. What is socially acceptable or unacceptable starts influencing our attitudes. In economic environment, abject poverty can use teach values on an empty stomach. Religious environment, many times either interpretation or misinterpretation of religion makes people fatalistic. Political environment, all these environments create a culture. Every place, be it a home, organization, or a country, has a culture or lack of it. Even lack of it is a culture. For example, if you go to a shop, you may find the salesperson polite, the supervisor polite, manager polite, the owner polite. You go to another shop and you find the salesperson rude, supervisor rude, manager rude, and the owner rude. There is a culture running. Similarly, if you go to a home and you find the kids are courteous, so are the parents. Even the help is polite. You go to another home, you may find the kids are fighting like cats and dogs, so are the parents. Even the help is rude. There is another culture running. Culture in any place always goes top down, never bottom up. In countries where there is a political uncertainty, people stop thinking long term. They start thinking short term. Their objective becomes to fleece everybody and fill their pocket today. Because if their pockets are full today, they will be more prepared to face the uncertainties of tomorrow. In countries where their government and political environment is honest, generally you will find that the people are honest, law abiding, and helpful, and the reverse is true too. In a corrupt environment, an honest person has a hard time, whereas in an honest environment, a corrupt person has a tough time. In a positive environment, a marginal performer's output goes up. In a negative environment, a good performer's output goes down. We need to step back and look at what kind of environment we have created ourselves and those around us. It is tough to expect positive behavior in a negative environment. In societies where lawlessness becomes the law, Honest citizens become cheat, crooks, and deceit. Take some time to evaluate how the environment that you are in affect you and how the environment created by you affects others. Experiences. Events and experiences in life determine our attitudes. If we have a positive experience with a person, our attitudes toward him is likely to be positive, and conversely, negative experiences tends to make us cautious. Experiences and events become reference points in our lives, and we draw conclusions which serves as guidelines for the future. I teach my grandson to tell the truth. If he sees me lying, he gets somewhat confused initially because he hears one thing and experiences something else. He draws his own conclusion based on his experience, which become his reference point going forward in life. Education. Holistic education ought to teach us not only how to make a living but also how to live. Education refers to both formal and informal education. We are drowning in information but starving for knowledge and wisdom. Strategically applied knowledge translates into wisdom, which in turn translates into success. The role of educator is vital. A teacher affects eternity. The ripple effect is immeasurable. How do you recognize people with positive attitude? Just as the absence of ill health does not equal good health, similarly, the absence of negativity does not make a person positive. People with positive attitudes have certain personality traits that are easy to recognize. They are caring, confident, patient, and humble. They have high expectations of themselves and others. They expect positive outcomes. A person with positive attitude is like a fruit of all seasons. He is always welcome. The benefit of a positive attitude. There are many benefits of having a positive attitude. The advantages are easy to see, but unfortunately, sometimes what is easy to see is also easy to miss. A positive attitude makes for a pleasing personality, is energizing and invigorating, gives fulfillment and makes life meaningful, inspire oneself and other, helps people become contributing member and assets to society, increases productivity and profits, fosters teamwork and better relationship, solve problems of makes positive decisions, brings pride in performance and improve quality, makes a congenial atmosphere, breeds loyalty and dependability, reduces stress and increase happiness. In other words, positive attitude leads to a happy, healthy and prosperous life. The consequences of a negative attitude. Life is an obstacle course and we become our biggest obstacle by having a negative attitude. People with negative attitude have a hard time keeping friendships, jobs, marriages, and relationships. Negative attitude leads to bitterness, discontentments, a purposeless life, high stress for self and others, resentment, frustration, and ill health. Negative attitude creates a unpleasant environment at home, at work, and in society. They pass on their negativity to others around them. People with negative attitude becomes a liability to society. Do attitudes go from one generation to the next? Absolutely. No wonder we find some families and societies are more positive than others. When we become aware of our negative attitude, why don't we change? Human nature generally resists changes. Change is uncomfortable. Regardless of whether it is positive or negative, change can often be stressful. Sometimes we get so comfortable with our negativity that even when the change is for the better, we don't want to accept it. We prefer to stay with the comfort of negative. Charles Dickens wrote about a prisoner who was locked up for many years in a dungeon. After serving his sentence, he got his freedom. He was brought out from his cell into a bright daylight of the open world. This man looked all around and after a few moments was so uncomfortable with his newly acquired freedom that he asked to be taken back to the confines of his cell. To him, the dungeons, the chains, and the darkness were more familiar, secure, and comfortable than accepting the change of freedom and an open world. Many modern day prisoners do the same thing. The stress of having to cope in an unfamiliar world are so great that they may purposely commit another crime in others to be sent back to prison, where though their freedom is restricted, they have fewer decisions to make. If your attitude is negative, your life is restricted. Your success at work will be limited. You will have a fewer friends and you will not enjoy life to its fullest. In the next chapter, I will share with you my thoughts on how you can build a positive attitude. Building a positive attitude will take a lot of hard work and commitment, but would be tremendously rewarding in every area of life. Dreams are a dime a dozen. It's their execution that count. Theodore Roosevelt. Chapter 2. Build a positive attitude, reaching your destination. The winner has a solution for every problem. The loser has a problem for every solution. Any fact facing us is not as important as our attitude toward it, for that determines our success or failure. Norman Vincent Peale. During childhood, we form attitude that last a lifetime. A positive attitude acquired during the formative years makes life meaningful and rewarding in every manner. If your early childhood experience have produced a positive attitude, you are indeed fortunate and have a head start over others. But if you have acquired a negative attitude, whether by design or by default, are you stuck with it? Of course not. Can you change your attitude? Yes. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Is it worth it? You bet. Caution. If you have a positive attitude, is there any guarantee that you will always remain positive? The answer is no, unless you make an effort to maintain it. How do you build and maintain a positive attitude? Become aware of the principle that build a positive attitude. Have a desire to be positive. Cultivate the discipline and dedication to practice those principles. As adults, regardless of our environment, education, and experience, who is responsible for our attitude? We are. We have to accept responsibility for our behavior and actions. Some people blame everyone and everything but themselves. It is up to us to choose our attitude every morning. You hear many self made success stories, but have you ever heard a self made failure story? Probably not. Failures with a negative attitude blame the whole world for their failures. Their parents, their teachers, spouse, bosses, the stars, the fate, luck, astronomy,